it's Amber Hurdle here at amberhurdle.com, and I want to introduce you to one of my favorite tools. I've been using this for eons, literally, um, at least 8 or 9 years at the very least. I'm sure you're all familiar with Google Drive. It used to be called Google Docs, which basically acts like Word or Excel, kind of like your Windows setup if you're on a PC. Um, but there's a secret little tool that I keep finding a lot of people don't know about, and that's Google Forms. So oftentimes we want to send a survey to our list, or we want to have people sign up for something, and maybe you don't want to use a free version of SurveyMonkey because it doesn't give you all the information that you want, or you can't ask as many questions as you'd like. And this is absolutely free. So I'm going to show you how to set up a survey or a form in Google Drive. And I do want to point out, though, I have Google Apps. So it basically acts like an enterprise system, meaning when you email somebody on my team, it comes from amberhurdle.com. So I don't use a free Gmail account. It looks like Gmail, it feels like Gmail, but I pay just a little bit every month in order for it to not be amber@gmail.com, if that makes any sense. So there'll be a few things that I'll point out that might be different. There's a few more steps because of security measures that I have to take versus you. So don't get mixed up in that cluttery stuff. Just kind of go with the flow. And if there's a step that you don't see that you need to take because you use Gmail and not Google Apps, then just skip that step and keep going. So first we're going to go over here and we go to Google Drive, which if you're in your Gmail account, you can just click right there on this little button here to find it. We want to create a new, so we click on new. Google Docs, Sheets, Slides, we don't need any of that, but what we do need is Google Forms. So here we go. Now this is one of those things that I have to do that you might not have to do. I need to always unclick Require Amber Hurdle Coaching and Training Login to view this form. Obviously I want the public to be able to view this form, so we'll just click OK there, and now that automatically opens it up. So we are going to call this form Ask Amber. I'm creating a form so that people can ask me questions, and then I will immediately send them a response just as soon as I answer it via email. But I also will potentially use that information in a podcast episode or a video like this or a blog post or something like that. Of course, not revealing their email or anything like that. So I do want to create a form description, and I've already created all of my body copy over here. So I'm just going to copy and paste that so that there's a little more information. And then we're going to start asking questions. So first question, I just want your name. And then here, you can see it can be text, which is just a short little bit of information, a paragraph text that allows them to have more space to write, multiple choice, check boxes if you want them to be able to check more than one, choosing from a list, scale, grid, date, time. I mean, there's all different ways that you can use this, but we're just going to keep it nice and simple for text. And of course, we want that to be a required question, so we're going to click that right there and then click done. So we're just going to continue here. I'm going to probably be able to type faster than I can copy and paste. So we need city, state, and country. And keep that. Another thing that you can do is if you have a similar question, you can just duplicate the same settings by hitting that right there. And that way you don't have to click like required question every time. And then if you see that you misspelt something or you didn't want it to be a required question, then you can just click edit and it'll let you get back in there. Or if you decide you didn't want that question, then that's your little trash can right there. So let's see what else your email address. Now, here's the help text rather. If you think that that question deserves further explanation, perhaps just a quick question isn't enough to give them direction on how you want them to answer it, you can use this area here. I want them to know, I want the people who are filling this form out to know that I'm not going to share their email address, they're not going to be added to a list, that it's going to be used exclusively to get them the answer to their question. So I'm going to put that in there, make that a required question. And then let's see here. Oops, if I can type. This one, we probably want to give them a little more information, and honestly on your question, we probably want to give them paragraph text in order to answer it as well. So I'll go back in and edit that. Now, they might not have any additional background that they want to share with me in order for me to get to a specific solution. So I did not mark that as a required question. So I think we have one more. Is there anything you'd like to say or add? We're going to make that paragraph text. We're not going to make it a required question because that's up to them if there's more that they want to add or not. And then confirmation page. So it'll say your response has been recorded, or you could do something personal like thank you, I can't wait to respond, or maybe thank you for your question, I can't wait to respond. Check back to amberhurdle.com to see if your question was used on the site. Okay, so we can then show them a link to submit another response, which we don't. Publish and show a public link to the form results, which I'll show you what that is. We don't want them to see everybody else's responses, so we don't want to click that. Or allow responders to edit responses after submitting. I'm going to do that because sometimes you think, oh, I should have told her this. And so that way they can log back in and fix their answers. So at this point, we're going to send the form. Here, you can just, that's the copy and paste for the form. You can shorten that if you'd like. And then there's also ways to embed it. So I'm going to embed this form onto a page on my website so that I can direct people to amberhurdle.com/ask-amber instead of some mumbo jumbo type long email, or excuse me, website URL from Google. So I'll click done there. Now here, we want to change the theme. Oops, I'm clicking away here. We want to change the theme. So over here you have lots of different options to make your form nice and pretty. And so if you're going to do a freestanding form where you're just sending them directly to the form, I would pick something kind of cool, and I usually do. But since this is going to be embedded in my website, then I want it to kind of just blend in. So I'm going to click basic. That's what I want, which is already as basic. And then when you view your responses, they all come time-stamped, so you know who answered them first. So like if you're doing the first 10 to respond to this offer gets, you know, a bonus of XYZ, you can see based on the timestamp who those first 10 people are. So I used to use this a lot when I was overseeing the employee relations and communications and events and perks and all that kind of stuff for a large hospitality brand, because we would put things in the newsletter and say, you know, if you answer today, then you get this. And so that was a great way to be able to track who actually did it the day that they were supposed to. Same with RSVPs, same with if you want to volunteer, fill out this form, and then you can let the people who answered first get, you know, the volunteer jobs that they wanted first. So lots of good things here. And then you can also show a summary of responses, which we don't have any responses for me to show to you. but you can see instead of it being in like an Excel form, it's a little bit easier to read. So they'll just kind of all stack on top of each other. So the first person's response to the second, and you can view it like this, which is also sometimes an easier way for you to copy and paste it into like a document or on your website or whatever. I get my testimonials through a Google form. So when I'm piecing those together, I can just copy and paste it. And that's easy peasy. So that is how you create a Google form. If you want to see the live form, you just click right there. It looks like that. If you want a sexier form, I tend to use this one a lot. So now we can view that live form and see how pretty that is. Just changes the font and the colors and that sort of thing. So that's it. That's how you create a Google form. It's super crazy easy. I do suggest that you come up with all of your questions in the order that you want them to go, because if you switch around the order on the form, it does not switch around on the end document on the Excel type spreadsheet that all of your answers get populated to. And so that can kind of mix you up a little bit too as you're tallying the responses or however you're using your data on the back end. So love sharing this with you. I hope you use this tool in as many ways as I do. I use it personally, professionally. It's a great, great tool. And if you have any questions, you know, you can ask Amber. So email me at amber@amberhurdle.com if it's something that you're not comfortable sharing on a YouTube comment or on my blog comments, and I would be delighted to help you, not to happy you, but I do hope you're happy. Thanks a bunch. Check out the next video and go see me at amberhurdle.com.